Tuduhannya melibatkan yang pertama 4.3 million, yang lagi satu 5.2. Sama juga dengan tuduhan 3 dan 4. Sama, ya. Tetapi dipecahkan sebab dikatakan kononnya dengan menyimpankan wang itu di dalam akaun saya tanpa memberitahu income tax, itu juga menjadi amla. Okey, menjadi satu kesalahan bawah amla. Bagi saya, keempat-empat pertuduhan ini adalah karut. Sebabnya pokok pertuduhan ini, iaitu ciri-ciri ataupun inti pertuduhan ini ialah sama ada saya tahu duit atau dana 4.3 dan juga 5.2 asalnya daripada source yang haram ataupun proceeds of an illegal thing, ya. Jadi mereka harus membuktikan bahawa bukan sahaja duit ini datangnya daripada sources yang haram, tetapi saya juga tahu perkara ini, ya. So if you look at that, it is quite clear. If I ask any one of you in 2013 and 2014 and 2014, have you heard of 1MDB or SRC? All of you will have to say you've never heard of it. Okay? So how would I know in 2013 and 2014 that there was a matter like 1MDB and SRC? Assume something went wrong with 1MDB or SRC, which is being disputed by Datuk Seri Najib. So it is quite clear, if they cannot prove knowledge that I must have, that I know the money I receive from Datuk Seri Najib is in fact illegal money, then the whole 4 charges drop. Right? So I feel these are the 4 charges that was brought by some people. Okay, one is obviously at the agitation of Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, because he wants to get away from the conviction in Court of Appeal as well as the Federal Court in relation to the sodomy 2 charges, because I prosecuted the appeal, you remember, yeah? So he is trying to run an argument that because I received 9.5 million kononnya, purportedly as a reward to me, for me to prosecute him, therefore he did not receive a fair trial, which is, as you can see, I did not prosecute the case. I did not conduct the case. I only conduct the appeal. Appeal means your record is there. I only take the record, I argue the matter. I can never fix the evidence. I can never make the evidence better, and so on. So in a situation of an appeal, even if assuming I'm paid 20 million to do the appeal, how could I improve the case or make the case worse? I cannot. Yeah, I can only argue based on the record. You understand? Eh? So, but Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, although he said that dia punya pengampunan dah padamkan semua kesalahan beliau, mengikut beliau lah, tapi saya memang tak setuju. Tapi dia kata Yang di-Pertuan Agong beritahu dia punya kesalahan semuanya dipadamkan semuanya. Kalau semuanya dipadamkan, why are you applying in the in the Court of Appeal and the Federal Court to erase your conviction? So there must be something not right with the logic of it. Alright? Okay. Now,
motif ke di sebalik pertuduhan yang dilakukan terhadap Tan Sri?
Saya rasa motif yang paling kuat ialah satu, berkenaan dengan Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Nombor 2, ada orang-orang di Pejabat Peguam Negara yang you boleh agak, termasuk orang yang tak permanent dalam Peguam Negara, yang hendak singkirkan saya daripada menjadi line up peguam-peguam dalam kes Datuk Seri Najib. Mungkin dia orang takut sebab kita punya line up is quite good and defense is quite good. Yeah? So maybe they're worried about that.
Jadi tuduhan ini tidak berasas.
Tak ada asas langsung. It is political. Because as you know, in their political manifesto, what did PH say? PH say we will charge everyone in relation to the 1 MBB. You notice the best that they could do so far, again, Datuk Seri Najib, was 42 million. That one is SRC. All right? Now, 1 MDB, they're still struggling. I am sure they will bring charges of 1 MDB, again, Datuk Seri Najib, even if they couldn't complete the investigation. Even if they know they're going to lose the case, because they got to keep up with their words, otherwise the people of Malaysia will no longer believe them. Because as you can see, the various things that they promised, the GST and all that, are not happening. Prices are not coming down, it's going up. Your ringgit is getting from bad to worse. So these are promises they cannot keep. Same thing with these charges about 1 MDB and SRC. They have to do something in order to pretend to keep to their promises.
Tan Sri, how does this case affect your position now as a lead defense
It doesn't
counsel?
affect at all.
Would it reach a stage where you have to recuse yourself?
No. In fact, I heard rumors they wanted to charge Datuk Seri Najib and me together for the 9.5 so that it is a joint trial.
You heard rumors?
I heard rumors. You know, Malaysian rumors are normally true. Okay? Malaysian rumors are normally true. So they wanted to do that in order to charge me jointly with Datuk Seri Najib, joint trial. Therefore, I cannot be a counsel to defend him and to defend myself. You understand? But that will not work because we got our own strategy if it ever comes to that.
Are you confident that you'll be able to clear your name? Are you confident that you'll be able to get a fair trial?
Okay, there are two questions there. We are contemplating to move the case from Sessions Court perhaps upwards to the High Court because the Attorney General doesn't seem to make any move. Okay, that we will decide very shortly because I feel like cases of this complication, I think a High Court judge is better suited. If you give me an independent High Court judge or any judge, I can almost tell you we will win the case. Give me an independent judge. I don't want a judge that is favorable to me, but just give me an independent, straight judge, we will win the case. Because this is a fix-up.
You admitted that, you're not disputing that you received the money, right?
Yes.
9.5 from the ex-Prime Minister.
Yes.
Could you tell us, what are they about and whether you have filed proper return?
Okay. Now, in my defense, in the statement that I gave to the MACC, I can't go into detail because the case has been unfolded. By the way, I must remind you, I'm speaking to you not as a lawyer. I'm speaking to you as an accused person, so I can speak to you for 3-4 hours. There is no law that bar me speaking to you. So listen. But
My hand is shaking right now.
now, you remember this lady called Rohayu who filed an affidavit? She is a special officer to the Attorney General currently. She was working with Tommy Thomas before. Now she is in Attorney General's chambers as a special officer. She said, I did not tell the truth about my claim of the 9.5 million. Now she's clearly lying, and I'm saying this in public. She's a liar because I did not say I did not receive 9.5 million. What I said was I did not receive 9.5 million to do the Anwar case. That was as clear as daylight. But she is either not very clever or she is very dishonest. Okay? So, emanating from that, let me tell you, I received 9.5 million in 2 portions because I have been doing work for Barisan Nasional and UMNO since Dr. Mahathir's time. And I have never been paid. Not because they are not paying me, but because both sides are not reminding each other. So they may pay some disbursements and all the expenses, but they are not fees. Dr. Mahathir is aware of this. Dr. Mahathir was the one, together with Datuk Muhammad Rahman, who was the Secretary General of UMNO and Secretary General of Barisan Nasional, who appointed me to do that. The bill that I showed, or rather the appendix that I gave to Datuk Seri Najib to justify 9.5 was in relation to 40 election petitions. Right? 46 election petition. Some of these election petition, I'll give you an example, involve, you remember Datuk Firdaus. Datuk Firdaus was the former Imam of Masjid Negara. I think he went to Anwar's constituency. He had and he contested in the election. That case was a very difficult case. That case alone, the bill would have come between 500 to 1 million, 500,000 to 1 million. Then you have Clarence Bongkos, if I'm not mistaken, in Sabah. That is again another $1 million case. So you have about 46. Some of these cases are not so big. They may be $200,000 to $300,000. But 46, I time it by 250,000, more or less. It came to 11.5. We discounted between me and Datuk Seri Najib. We discounted another 2 million. We agreed to 9.5. Okay? That 9. Sorry.
You're supposed to get more than that.
In fact, if I were to charge all the bills, all the work that I've done for Barisan Nasional alone, forgetting about my advice to the various prime ministers from Dr. Mahathir to Tun Abdullah Badawi and to Najib himself. All the prime ministers I've given advice because they have requested me sometime in the middle of the night to come and give them a legal opinion. Not including that, just pure party, Barisan Nasional and UMNO. I'm not surprised if the bill is about 20 million. 20. I'm not surprised. But I only asked at this time because I was in need of some quick money in order to purchase a property to help a friend. Okay? So because the documentation is not complete, Datuk Seri Najib and I agreed that he will give me the 9.5 in 2 tranches as an advance stroke loan until I rationalize the billing. Once the billing is rationalized, it'll be crystallized into my fees. Okay? That rationalization took place a lot later. That will answer you why in certain previous years I could not have declared in the income tax because it has not crystallized into my fees yet. It was still an advance, it was still a loan. You understand? Now, secondly, you know that there is a lot of talks and allegations that various monies are all illegal monies. What is the status of the 9.5 that I received? Although I received it innocently without knowing the sources. Assuming one day somebody prove, okay, this money is actually from an illegal source, although without your knowledge. Is the money subject to forfeiture? If it is debatable. Yeah, I don't think so, but it is debatable. If it is subject to forfeiture unless it's clear, why do you pay tax then? Until it is clear. So there are two or three reasons. There are many more why the entry into return of income tax can only be undertaken subsequently. In fact, we have already taken steps. In early 2018, we have rationalized the fees. Very early 2018. Now, which means the reflection of tax will have to be in 2018 at the end of the year. You will be accommodated at the end of the year. I've taken advice from the income tax expert, tax expert, and I have been told I am right in my treatment of the fund. Okay? Now, I must tell you something quite shocking. Datuk Seri Najib was asked to appear today in MACC to give a statement about the 9.5. Okay? Now, he is the only other witness who can corroborate or deny my claims. Correct? Because he's the one who gave it to me. 10 o'clock this morning. I was brought to court today without the benefit of Datuk Seri Najib's statement. Because Datuk Seri Najib's statement today was cancelled. MACC said no need. They will think of another day. So what does it mean? It means that the investigation is not completed. You are not bothered to listen to what Datuk Seri Najib is going to say. Whether he say, yes, I have seen this document that now you show me, purportedly from Shafee, I've seen this document. Yes, this is my signature, for instance, because he said, okay, noted. All these are documented on the day, or rather a few days after I received the first payment. He has noted that, noted with his signature. All this, if you do not confront Datuk Seri Najib for him to give a statement to either support me or otherwise, the investigation is not complete. Why do you think they charge me today? Irrespective of whether the investigation is complete. If you complete the investigation, a fair investigator and Attorney General will say, let me look at this. Because if I don't look at this properly, I may just lose sight of a proper defense that he may have. You understand? So, they rush to charge me. Alright? Now, compare this to Lim Guan Eng's case. 25 witnesses have given evidence, taking how many days? Nobody said there was no case. Yet, they equally rush and withdrew the case. So, you just think about it. Whether our Attorney General Chambers and the system of justice in this country, as promised by PH, is in fact, they are being realistic about it. Or are you in a situation much worse than before? Because the rule of law is not being obeyed. Courts are not being respected. The judge that was presiding over in Datuk Seri Najib case, without his fault, was suddenly removed. And a new judge came in. Again, the new judge is not at fault because he's just one of those judges. There is no accusation against any of the judges. But one would wonder why? Why suddenly you change judges? You can't say this is a routine charge because the whole country know this is not a routine transfer order. You and I know. So you have to ask the question, why do you do that?
Tan Sri, macam mana yang perasaan anak buah Tan Sri Datuk Seri Najib Razak bila mengetahui Peguam
Dia ada isu satu statement tadi. Semasa saya dalam mahkamah, dia ada keluarkan satu statement. You cuba dapatkan. Statement tu secara pendek mengatakan dia disappointed. Dia kata ini adalah satu bully teknik untuk mengecewakan kumpulan pembela yang dia dah ada, termasuk saya. Tetapi bagi saya, kalau you tahu watak saya sendiri, lagi you tekan, lagi keras saya jadi.
Tan Sri, adakah Tan Sri jangka kan bahawa berhadapan dengan pertuduhan ini?
Saya tak jangka. Sebab apa? Bagi saya, saya terima fees. Saya dapatkan bayaran, guaman, khidmat guaman yang saya buat. Umpamanya, katalah ada seorang yang kena ataupun dipertuduhkan jadi trafficker in drugs. Relatif dia datang, bagi kat saya RM200,000. Sometimes check, sometimes cash. Adakah saya nak tanya dia, di mana dia dapat duit ni, adakah duit ni duit dadah? Boleh saya tanya semua tu? Saya tak boleh. Saya kena ambil duit tu, kecuali kalau saya tahu betul-betul ini adalah duit daripada perniagaan dadah. Ya, jadi kalau dalam keadaan tu saya tak ambil. Tapi secara normal, you do not inquire. Ya, saya pasti Datuk Seri Ram pun tak pernah tanya.
Tan Sri, selepas Tan Sri
Sorry.
Apa perasaan Tan Sri selepas berhadapan dengan pertuduhan?
segi imej Tan Sri sendiri.
Image, I'm not worried. Image saya tak takut langsung. Sebab apa? Ini bukan kali pertama saya kena tangkap. 1987 saya kena tangkap. Di bawah kerajaan Dr. Mahathir juga. Semasa tu, saya sedang defend Asian Wall Street Journal, of all people. Saya defended Asian Wall Street Journal. Saya menang 3 kali dalam kes tu. Sampai Mahkamah Persekutuan. Saya kena tangkap dalam pejabat saya. Kononnya saya ada dokumen-dokumen rasmi kerajaan. Okay? They found zero. Asas yang dia orang tangkap saya 1987 zero, kosong. Jadi kerajaan kalah dengan saya bila saya sue kerajaan. Peguam negara Datuk Mokhtar Abdullah, masa tu Datuk Mokhtar Abdullah, beliau bersetuju dengan saya pampasan sebanyak RM840,000 secara diam-diam. Dia bayar sebab malu.
Yeah. Why do you have two passport?
Why I have two passport? I have two passport because I was at the material time an ambassador at large. Jadi bila you jadi ambassador, you have a diplomatic passport.
When is it?
Huh?
When was it?
Sorry?
When was it?
It is still valid. It is still valid. Tetapi I dah terima surat daripada Wisma Putra about 1 month ago to say that I shouldn't use my diplomatic passport sebab I am no longer an ambassador at large. Sebelum jadi ambassador at large, I was also pangkat ambassador, juta juga, di dalam keadaan sebagai wakil ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission for Human Rights. Aisyah dia panggil. ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission for Human Rights. Saya wakil pertama bagi Malaysia. Ya, wakil pertama yang pernah ada. Sekarang Edmund Bond yang menjadi pengganti saya.
Tan Sri, hari ini Tan Sri
Hang on. 1 minit.
Tan Sri didakwa hari ini. Adakah Tan Sri menjangkakan ada orang-orang lain yang related dengan Najib cases akan di-charge lepas ni?
Saya pasti bukan semua orang yang terima wang daripada Datuk Seri Najib akan didakwa. Sebab it's impossible. Sebab macam mana you boleh kata just because you receive money, you are guilty. Umpamanya saya dipahamkan, saya tak mau bagi tahu nama sebab tak elok. Ada satu syarikat yang supply kain-kain, uniform, baju, juga terima daripada Datuk Seri Najib. Ada syarikat yang supply makanan, juga terima wang daripada Datuk Seri Najib dalam akaun yang sama. Jadi why don't you arrest them? Macam nak you arrest me? What about them? Kita dua orang pun tak tahu duit tu daripada mana. We wouldn't know. Takkan kita nak tanya Prime Minister kita sendiri, you bagi duit ni duit betul ke ataupun duit curi ke? Takkan kita nak tanya Prime Minister. Sama juga kalau Dr. Mahathir bagi kat saya, takkan saya nak tanya dia. Lagi satu, kita tahu bahawa pengurusi Barisan Nasional dan juga Presiden UMNO dihakkan di bawah Constitution UMNO untuk mengelolakan wang-wang UMNO dan Barisan Nasional. Dan dalam masa pilihan raya memang is an issue of cash. You can't be paying expenses using check. You have to pay in cash. When Dr. Mahathir handed over the reign of UMNO and Barisan Nasional to Abdullah Badawi, assets and cash worth 1.2 billion, it is on record, was handed over. 1.2 billion. So this story about 116,100,000 is a non-issue because it is a political fund just after election. There's a balance.
So just to confirm, you will be handing in your application to request the lead prosecutor to recuse himself.
Yes. Yes. That's for sure. Now, I do not know whether you were in court. Were you in court? Okay.
Some of us.
Yeah, my quarrel with Datuk Sri Ram has been long. Since the days I was a young deputy public prosecutor, maybe 79. I joined 77. 79, 80, thereabout. I was already prosecuting very serious cases. It started with me prosecuting 3 Singapore millionaires who apparently built Changi Airport. Okay, I've given the details of this case. In that case, quite surprisingly, when one of my leading witnesses say that this transaction has got no authority, there is no resolution, I asked him, what do you mean by there is no resolution? There is a resolution that actually allows the transaction. He says, no, that resolution is fake, it's fraud, it's fake. I said, what do you mean? He said, somebody asked me to remove it and replace it with this fake resolution. The original resolution does not give that power to the company to spend the money like that. So I said, who asked you to do that? He said, I was in Regent Hotel. Regent Hotel is now Park Royal. Regent Hotel is now Park Royal, the original Regent Hotel. He said, I was in my room. 2 lawyers came to my room, asked me to do this. And I asked who? He said, one is YM Jumoboy of Singapore, a very senior lawyer. The other one is Sriram. And Sriram was there with Jumoboy and RR Chilaya defending the case. As a result of which the judge told Sriram and Jumoboy to get out of the court, wait until this evidence is over. Now, as a result of that, Sriram's office was raided by a warrant of search, but not out of my doing. But he would have thought that I am, okay, perhaps with others, have orchestrated it. I was truly still in court. The court case was never finished that day when Sriram office was raided. Okay, Tan Sri Abu Talib was then the Attorney General. The other prosecutor who helped Tan Sri Abu Talib in the application for warrant of search was the late DPP T.S. Samandamurthy. I'm not sure whether you remember him. The Jin Sinapa case, he was the prosecutor. Okay, that was the first. All right, that was the first. The second episode was in relation to his wife, Chandra Sriram. She applied in a civil suit. She sued the KL International School because the son was not given a place in the debating team. Can you imagine that? Yeah, your son never got a place in the debating team. She sued. An international school, if school have got to defend civil suit like this, the premium for insurance will go up for the school and school fees might go up. Would you believe it? Mari Herbert was taken by Chandra Sriram for contempt of court. If it is today, or maybe as far back as 10 years ago, that case would have been dismissed without even much consideration. But at that time, Mr. Sriram was the Court of Appeal judge. He was a sitting Court of Appeal judge. And Mari Herbert was convicted. I was defending. We raised all kinds of defenses, valid defenses. Went to the Court of Appeal. He was again convicted. First reporter, like you guys, reporting about a case and making fair comment. In 50 years, the first reporter in the Commonwealth sent to the prison. Okay, so that is the second acrimonious thing between him and me, and of course involving his entire family. Third was the case of Metromac. I think you will remember the Metromac case was the most gripping case in the civil suit. Metromac was a concession holder for toll roads. That was my client. We won in the High Court. The matter went up to the Court of Appeal. Fauzia Holding was the plaintiff. We won. Metromac won. Fauzia Holding appeal. Datuk Cyrus Das was doing the appeal. He was submitting. As he was submitting, I mean, I haven't replied yet. He was submitting as an appellant. And Sri Ram came in and simply make utterances that were uncalled for. Things like suggesting that Tun Daim ran the Ministry of Finance like his grandfather's coffee shop. He said that. It's all on record. And then make unnecessary comment about their honesty, imputed that Halim Saad and Anwar Osman committed CBT, they were thieves, and so on and so on. Now, unnecessary. This is before I had a chance. Now, you are not lawyers. You would realize that this is not fair. You haven't heard the other side story. You're already making judgment. So, of course, you can guess what happened in the Court of Appeal. I lost. All right? So, I wrote a letter to say the further proceeding, because that was an interim proceeding. The further proceeding in the Court of Appeal, we invite you to recuse yourself in view of your predetermination, because you make predetermination. Now, one would have thought either you disqualify yourself or you say, no, let's carry on. I don't think there is a predetermination. Then we carry on, then we can do whatever. Instead of doing just that, he got his two other brother judges, but he was the one insisting, citing me for contempt. Apparently, writing that letter was a contempt of court. This is sheer bully technique by a judge sitting. Okay? Sheer bully technique. This is what he's doing right now, because he saw his chance to become a DPP, because, you know, for those of you who have never become DPP, you may get swollen-headed. I've been a DPP for 9 years, so I'm not sworn-headed to become a DPP again when when Anwar's case was mooted. Okay, so when you suddenly get powers like that, and you see around you, who can you aim your gun barrel to? And I happen to be the one again. Okay, this is what is happening. This is a bully technique.
So now that you're in charge,
Yes.
can you still defend Najib?
Yes, she has asked me that. I can defend Najib because I'm not convicted. Okay?
What about as far as the ethics concerned, professional conduct? I mean, will that be used against you to ask you to?
I don't see anything relevant there because as long as you're not convicted, you're presumed innocent. Otherwise, then you're living in a communist regime.
But when will you file the application?
By next week. Yeah, hopefully by next week.